At the beginning of the story, we see a very large ship in the middle of the ocean carrying more than 1,000 passengers. Everyone on board is in high spirits because tonight is the 31st of December, meaning the new year begins tomorrow. A party is in full swing across the entire ship in celebration of the new year. Music is playing everywhere. Some people are dancing while others are enjoying games to celebrate the occasion. But no one had any idea that this happiness was about to be very short-lived, because something was about to happen that was terrifying, even to think about. Just then, the captain in the control room notices something moving toward the ship. The sight alarms him, and when he looks through his binoculars toward the sea, he sees an enormous wave advancing straight at the ship. The captain's eyes go wide. He quickly tries to turn the ship around, but a ship that size couldn't be turned so quickly. On the other side, the wave is racing toward them at great speed. Seeing this, the captain understands that the wave will strike the ship any moment, so he presses the ship's emergency button to warn everyone of the approaching danger. When the people on board learn that an enormous wave is about to slam into the ship, panic breaks out among them. Everyone begins running in every direction, but no one had anywhere to hide, and then a massive wave crashes into the ship with tremendous force. The impact is so violent that some people are killed instantly, and the ship flips over entirely. What was on top goes to the bottom, and the floor where people were partying comes up to the top. As the ship overturns, everything goes flying to the other side, and many people are killed crashing into the walls. Some fall into the water and die. Others are killed by the explosions occurring within the ship. The flooding of the control room claims the lives of every officer present there. Now we see the situation inside the ship, where everything is scattered everywhere and everyone in the hall is in a state of panic because many of them have lost their loved ones. A little while later, a ship officer enters the hall and tells everyone that there is one piece of good news and one piece of bad news. The bad news is that a massive tsunami wave has struck the ship, causing it to capsize. For this reason, no one can get out, because the exits are now submerged underwater. The good news is that the officers sent a distress call to the rescue team a few minutes before the wave hit, so everyone should stay calm, because the rescue team will arrive soon by helicopter and save them all. During this time, we notice a man inside the ship whose name is Dylan. Dylan had previously served in the US Navy. Because of this, Dylan understood clearly that they were stranded in the middle of the ocean, that a rescue team would take a very long time to arrive. So he concluded he would have to do something himself. He begins studying the ship's map on the wall to find a way out, but he sees no exit route because every path leading out is now submerged underwater. Dylan refuses to give up. To prepare for an escape, he goes to a dead man lying nearby and takes a few useful items from his pockets. Just then, a small boy comes up to him and asks what he is doing. Dylan tells him he is preparing to get out of here. The boy says he can't get out because the officer just said there is no route out since the ship has capsized. Dylan says there is one way out, but it requires going upward. Just then, the boy's mother comes over, and the boy tells her that Dylan knows a way out of here. The mother asks Dylan if he truly knows a way to get out. Dylan answers yes. Just then, a businessman and an elderly man also arrive, and both of them learn that Dylan knows a way out. The elderly man tells Dylan that he is an architect and he understands how this ship was designed. In his judgment, this ship was not built to float upside down on the water, and it is slowly sinking. If they don't get out of here soon, they will all die. The businessman tells Dylan that he also wants to come along. Dylan says no, he works alone. The businessman replies that they should all work together to find a way out. If everyone tries to escape individually, they will all die. The others also tell Dylan that the man is right and that they should look for a way out together. Dylan agrees. The businessman then calls over one of the ship's waiters and asks him what the shortest route to get up and out is. The waiter says the officer told him not to reveal the exit route to anyone because it is extremely dangerous. Going that way could cost them their lives. The businessman tells the waiter he will pay him double what he earns in a year, but in exchange, he must show them the way out. The waiter agrees, and now they all begin moving upward. They are heading toward the area where the ship's large propeller fans are located, because that was the only way out. As they make their way up, the remaining people in the hall below notice them climbing. Seeing this, the officer tells everyone that those going up are fools, that death is waiting for them up there. But the officer didn't know that the ship was slowly sinking, and that the hall could flood at any moment. The officer then orders the guards to seal all the doors so that water cannot get in, and so that the people who went up cannot come back in either. Meanwhile, the group keeps moving forward, and along the way they come across several dead bodies lying on the ground, which deeply unnerves everyone. A little further ahead, they find that scattered debris has blocked the path on all sides, and they cannot find any way to go higher. They then open the elevator doors, but when they do, they see the elevator is broken and stuck at the top. To get past, they need to open the door on the opposite elevator and cross to the other side. To do this, they all use a long iron bench to build a makeshift bridge across to the opposite elevator so they can open that floor's door and pass through. Dylan goes first, reaches the other side, and tries to open the door, but the door refuses to budge. Then, he notices the upper elevator above him, its door half open. To get to that elevator, Dylan calls the elderly man over, climbs up on his shoulders, and manages to reach the upper elevator. From there, he helps pull everyone up one by one. But now, only the elderly man and the ship's waiter were left behind. The waiter tells the elderly man to go first and says he will come last. But the waiter didn't know that this decision was about to be the greatest mistake of his life. Just then, the elevator hanging above begins to sway. As the elderly man stands on the waiter's shoulders and starts climbing up to the upper elevator, the bench beneath the waiter's feet slips and falls. Both of them are left dangling. The waiter grabs the elderly man's feet tightly and begins screaming. The upper elevator is also slowly descending toward them both. Seeing this, both are overcome with panic. Dylan tries urgently to pull them both up, but because of the combined weight, he cannot. So Dylan tells the elderly man that he cannot pull them both up at the same time. He will have to somehow separate himself from the waiter, or both of them will die. Hearing this, the waiter screams not to let him fall, but the elderly man, reluctantly, kicks the waiter away, because if he didn't, both of them would have died. After that, they pull the elderly man up into the upper elevator. On the other side, hearing the impact of the elevator hitting the ground, the ship's officer assumes that everyone who went up has been killed, but he didn't know that death was now approaching him. Meanwhile, the group continues moving forward. After going some distance, they arrive at a dance club inside the ship, where the businessman finds his daughter, who had been trapped there, along with 3 other people. Their group now numbered 9 in total. They make a plan to reach the ship's propeller fan area as quickly as possible, because the ship is sinking and water is rising throughout. Moving forward, when they open the door ahead, their eyes go wide. The entire path ahead is completely blocked, and a huge amount of water has already collected on the lower ground floor. The only way to get to the other side is a broken iron railing of an elevator, and they begin crossing it one by one. 5 members of the team make it across. Then the businessman tells the little boy it is his turn. But just then, a drunk man shows up and demands to go first, saying he doesn't trust that they'll wait for him. No one argues with him. He begins making his way along the iron railing, but when he reaches the middle, a bottle of alcohol slips from his hand, and he stops dead in the center of the railing. At that very moment, the ship's engine falls from above and crushes him. The impact breaks the railing, and the drunk man is crushed under the engine. Oil begins pouring into the water from where the engine fell, and sparks ignite it, sending a geyser of fire shooting up from the water below. The group scrambles backward and saves themselves from the flames, but now they are in serious trouble. The railing path is destroyed, and the water below is on fire. There is no way to reach the other side, and if they don't get across soon, they will all die as the ship floods. No one knows what to do. Then, Dylan gets an idea. He ties a long pipe to an iron rod, jumps into the water himself, and once in the water, the fire doesn't touch him, because he already knew the fire was on the surface of the water. So he easily swims beneath the surface to the other side. Once there, he ties the pipe to another iron rod, and in this way he creates a bridge for the others to cross. After that, the businessman puts the boy on his shoulders, holds onto the pipe, and gets across to the other side. The group continues moving forward. On the other side, we check back on the people remaining in the hall. The glass windows that had been holding back the water are now cracking under the increasing water pressure. Seeing this, everyone in the hall is gripped by panic. Only now does the officer realize his mistake, but it is far too late. The glass windows shatter, and water begins pouring into the hall. Everyone drowns. The cries of the people in the hall reach the 8 survivors above, and they understand that all those left in the hall have been killed. In their hearts, they know their decision to leave was absolutely right, because if they had listened to the officer and stayed in the hall with the others, they would have died too. But there is no time to dwell on it. Water is now filling the area where they stand as well, so they urgently begin searching for a path to the fan area. When they try to open the door ahead, the moment it opens a crack, water begins rushing in with tremendous force. That means water has already accumulated on the other side of the door. This route is blocked too. Seeing this, everyone is distressed. There is no way out from here. Then the businessman spots a small ventilation passage. With no other option left, they all squeeze into the narrow ventilation route. A little further along, they spot light coming from above, and the sight fills them with hope, because there was a way out from there. But the bad news was that water was now rapidly filling the ventilation passage from below. Dylan is at the very back. He tells the businessman to reach the light opening as quickly as possible because water is rising fast from below. Somehow, the businessman makes it to the light opening, but when he gets there, he finds a metal grill fitted there, secured with nuts and bolts. He tries to open it, but can't, because the bolt holes are too small for his hand to reach. So he tells the woman's little boy to come up. His hands are small and might be able to reach the bolts through the grill. The boy comes up and reaches his hand through the grill, trying to undo the nuts, but he can't manage it alone, because a piece of metal is needed to turn the bolt. The businessman asks everyone if they have anything sharp that could work. A girl removes the cross she wears around her neck and hands it to the businessman, saying to try using it. The boy reaches his hand in again and begins turning the bolt, and it slowly begins to loosen. But now the rising water reaches them, and because Dylan is at the very bottom, his entire body, except for his head, is submerged. Then, even his head begins to go under. Everyone urges the boy to open the bolt as fast as he can. Just as Dylan is about to go completely under, the boy finally undoes both bolts on the grill. Everyone scrambles out one by one as quickly as possible. They are now just 2 floors away from the fan area. As they search for a way to get to the upper floor, they try the door ahead, but it is sealed from the other side. With no other route available, they open a tank hatch above them. Once inside the tank, they realize it is the ship's stabilizer tank, completely sealed with only one small exit, firmly shut. They are now trapped. They cannot go back down either, because the entire lower ship is flooded. Dylan understands this is a stabilizer tank and explains to everyone that this tank was built to keep the ship balanced. When it fills completely with water, the small exit at the front opens to release the excess water into another tank. Their only option now is to fill this tank with water. Hearing this, the businessman's daughter panics and asks, "What if the door still doesn't open even after the water fills up, and they all run out of air?" Dylan replies that he doesn't know, but there is no other choice. Everyone is weighing whether or not to flood the tank when the businessman notices water rushing toward them rapidly from below. Seeing this, they decide if they keep hesitating, the rising water will kill them anyway, so they might as well open the front wall and let the tank fill. Dylan and the businessman work together and open the large wall panel at the front. Water begins flooding in, and within moments the entire tank is filled. But still, the front door does not open. Everyone sinks into despair and begins to accept that death is certain. But then, with the water pressure building on the tank walls, the front door finally bursts open, and in one single surge, everyone is swept through into the next tank. But the ordeal isn't over yet, because this new tank is already full of water, and now they must swim through it to reach the floor above. Everyone takes a deep breath and begins swimming to the other side. But the last person in the group, a girl, gets her clothing snagged on a wire while moving forward, leaving her trapped. When she struggles to free herself, her head slams into a sharp piece of metal. Blood begins flowing heavily. The elderly man spots her just in time and manages to bring her up with great difficulty. But by then, her breath is already gone. The loss of the girl devastates everyone. Now their team was down to 7, and they push forward again. They reach an area where everything is scattered in every direction. Then they hear a voice coming from behind some debris, and they think help might have arrived. They begin shouting and clearing the path. But when they move the debris aside, they discover the sound was coming from a ringing telephone. The disappointment is crushing. Dylan checks the ship's map and realizes They are now very close to the fan area. They run toward it, but when they arrive, they find the propeller fan area is completely flooded with water. Everyone breaks down entirely. The place they needed to reach to escape is completely submerged, and all their hours of struggle seem wasted. Everyone can see their death approaching. Dylan is deeply saddened because the people who came with him on his word, he couldn't save them. Then the businessman comes up to Dylan and says not to be disheartened. Everyone is grateful to him for trying so hard to save their lives, but perhaps their fate was to die on this ship. And then, a massive explosion goes off in the lower part of the ship. The entire vessel shudders. The section of the ship's propeller fans that was submerged beneath the water breaks free, and the water inside it spills away to the other side. Now the path before them is completely clear. They rush to the fan area. When the elderly man opens the door leading to the fans, the air pressure on the other side is so great that the door slams violently into his face, killing him instantly. Now when the businessman enters through that doorway and shines a light to look at the fans, he realizes that instead of running forward, all the fans are running in reverse, meaning outside air is being sucked inward. So even if the group went close to the fans, the powerful suction of air would hurl them back inside. They need to somehow shut the fans down so they can get out. They check the map and find the fans can be shut down from the control room. But the control room is 150 feet below, which means going there is a death sentence, because no human being can hold their breath that long. But the businessman says he must go. If he doesn't, they will all die. The businessman's daughter's boyfriend says not to go, let him go instead, as he is young and can swim there, stop the fans, and come back. The businessman's daughter begins to cry because she knew that no one could survive a swim that far and return alive. She didn't want to lose either her boyfriend or her father. As she weeps, her boyfriend comes and comforts her, saying nothing will happen to him and he'll be back quickly. But when he turns around to enter the water, he realizes the businessman has already quietly slipped into the water ahead of him. Seeing this, the businessman's daughter breaks down in tears. We then follow the businessman as he swims through the water toward the control room. At the same time, the woman's little boy has gone missing. She jumps into the water and begins searching for him. She finds him trapped behind a metal grill. With the grill in the way, she cannot reach her child to save him. She surfaces and weeps desperately. Then, Dylan arrives and quickly opens the grill door to rescue the child. All three of them come back up. Meanwhile, the businessman has reached the control room, only to find that the button to shut down the fans is broken. The businessman is crushed with despair, because now he cannot stop the fans. After being underwater for so long, he starts to run out of air and begins to struggle. Just as he is about to die, his eyes land on a button, the one that reverses the direction of the fans. With his last remaining strength, the businessman presses it. The ship's fans begin spinning in reverse. The businessman dies there in the water, and in doing so, he sacrifices his own life to save his companions. Back above, the group begins to feel a change in the air. When they look at the fans, they are still spinning. They wonder why the businessman hasn't stopped them yet, but then they realize the fans, instead of blowing air inward, are now pushing it outward. Everyone understands that the businessman reversed the fans before he died, but they still don't immediately understand why he reversed them rather than stopping them, and they stand there puzzling over it, because if they go near the spinning fans, the blades will tear them apart. Then, it strikes Dylan. He understands the reason behind what the businessman did. He tells the boy that if they throw large heavy objects into the spinning fans, they can jam and stop them. The boy likes this idea and hands Dylan a very large gas cylinder. Dylan hurls the cylinder directly at the fans. The moment it strikes, there is a massive explosion. Fire spreads in all directions. When the flames die down, they look, and the fan has stopped. Everyone is overjoyed. They all begin moving toward the edge of the ship. But the businessman's daughter is still waiting for her father to come back. She is hoping he will return. She doesn't yet know that he is gone. Her boyfriend comes to her and tells her gently that her father is dead. He is not coming back. They need to leave now, or she too will die. The businessman's daughter listens and accepts it. After that, everyone moves to the edge of the ship near the fan area, and one by one they jump into the water below, quickly climbing into a small lifeboat. Once they are all seated in the boat, the massive ship begins falling toward them. Seeing this, Everyone panics and rows as hard as they can to push the boat forward. After a little while, they manage to get far enough away from the ship, and the great ship finally sinks beneath the ocean. Then they hear the sound of a helicopter nearby. They shout with all the strength they have left, but because of the darkness of the night, the helicopter cannot spot them. Dylan then fires a flare gun. The flash of light catches the attention of the helicopter crew, who spot them and come to the rescue. And with that, the story comes to an end.